Ekohotblog weekly review of trending stories. If you're a new subscriber or you're watching for the first time, this is Ekohotblog weekly review of trending stories, where we bring to you the juiciest and trending stories of the week.
Welcome to this week's episode of Ekohotblog weekly review of trending stories. The week indeed has been a blend of surprises and mourning, from football transfer deadline in the world of sport to where not less than 6 people lost their lives and several other persons injured on the Lekki-Epe Expressway, with other related cases. If you're just joining us for the first time, you're welcome on board. This is where we bring to you interesting, trending and fascinating stories that happened within the course of the week that you may have missed. Adiola Muda is my name, and I'll be taking you through the highlighted stories for this week's episode. First, let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government announces WASSCE'S shift to CBT. We have hit our revenue target for the year, says Tinubu. Lagos government to resume Ogudu-Ifako bridge repairs. Stop giving money to street stout. Lagos commissioner warns celebrities and influencers. 6 dead and others injured in fatal crash on Lekki-Epe Expressway. Epe local government chairman calls for collective action against domestic and sexual violence. Afghanistan Quake death toll exceed 1,400 as rescue effort intensify. Trump deportation order continues to raise concern. Transfer deadline, Nicholas Jackson, Arokodare, George and other major deals. Super Eagles players join camp ahead of Rwanda and South Africa qualifiers. Tiwa Savage unveils intimate 15-track album. Fans heartbroken as popular skit maker Mr. Sanku dies after car crash. Thank you for joining us once again. Now the news in full. Federal government announces WASSCE'S shift to CBT. The Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, has announced the full transition of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination to computer-based test, CBT, signaling a major shift in the Nigeria educational system and how students will be assessed going forward. Ekohotblog report that the minister, while speaking in Abuja, described the move as a landmark reform aimed at strengthening examination integrity, curbing malpractice and bringing Nigeria's assessment standard in line with global best practices. This digital change marks the first in the West African's examination's 73 years of existence. The West African Examination Body, WAEC, has implemented several digital innovations in recent years, including e-learning platforms, digital certificates, and examiners' marking tools. But this total shift to computer-based tests is the most significant modernization effort yet. Still on national news, we've hit our revenue target for the year, says Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced that his administration has surpassed its 2025 revenue target ahead of schedule, attributing the success to stronger non-oil sector performance and ongoing economic reforms aimed at stabilizing the nation. Ekohotblog report that during a meeting with former members of the now-defunct Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, at the presidential villa in Abuja, the president stated that his government has met its revenue target for the whole year in August, and Nigeria is not borrowing a dime from local banks. President Tinubu explained that revenue from non-oil sources has helped cushion the impact of global economic pressures. He further outlined plans to roll out agricultural mechanization across the country, describing it as essential for ensuring food security and tackling poverty. Meanwhile, opposition voices and some economists questioned the president's claim, pointing to a sharp drop in the country's GDP from $363 billion in 2023 to $183 billion in 2024, arguing that despite increased revenue, the reform has intensified hardship for many Nigerians. The president, however, insisted that the economy is on the right track. Up next is Lagos news. Lagos government to resume Ogudu-Ifako bridge repairs. The Lagos state government announced that the repair work on the Ogudu-Ifako bridge in Koshofe local government area has resumed on Wednesday, 3rd of September, following a review of traffic management strategies. Ekohotblog reports that the project, which was suspended 2 weeks ago, was halted after severe gridlock and security concerns arose during the first phase. Motorists reported long delays, while incidents of traffic-related and robberies were recorded in the area. Speaking on Tuesday, the Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun, confirmed the diversion plan had been revised to ease congestion and ensure better traffic flow around the construction zone. The Commissioner also provided alternative routes for motorists heading towards Oshodi, Victoria Island and other parts of the city. The state government assured road users that security agencies have been deployed to prevent criminal activities during the partial closure. Still on Lagos news, stop giving money to street tout. Lagos Commissioner warns celebrities and influencers. The Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, has cautioned celebrities, influencers, and residents against giving money to street tout, warning that the practice fuels insecurity and lawlessness. Mr. Wahab issued the warning in response to a complaint raised by a user on X about harassment and extortion by homeless boys and teenagers along the Lekki-Epe Expressway. Ekohotblog reports that the user had urged the state government to deploy officials of the Lagos State Neighborhood Watch to protect motorists from intimidation and assault along the busy corridor. In his reaction, he said the perceived kindness of handing money to tout only worsened the problem, while stressing that such action make enforcement efforts more difficult and create wider security and environmental concerns across the state. Up next is Epe news. 6 dead and others injured in fatal crash on Lekki-Epe Expressway. A fatal road crash claimed 6 lives and left 9 other persons injured on Monday, September 1st, 2025 at Ibeju bus stop along the Lekki-Epe Expressway. Ekohotblog reports that the accident, which occurred at about 10:22 a.m., involved a blue Volvo truck and a white Mazda commercial bus. According to the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSA, Ibeju Lekki Unit Command, the crash was caused by speeding, route violation, and dangerous driving. The truck was reportedly driving against traffic when it collided head-on with the passenger bus coming from CMS and heading towards Epe. Out of the 19 passengers involved, 6 were confirmed dead, including 2 males, 3 females, and a male child. 9 others sustained varying degrees of injuries, while 4 passengers escaped unhurt. The injured were rushed to the Federal Medical Center, FMC, Epe, and Amount Hospital, while the deceased were deposited at the FMC Epe mortuary. Rescue efforts were carried out by the FRSC Zebra 46 and Corridor Command 13, officers of the Nigeria Police Force, Akodo Division, Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, and the Lagos Neighborhood Safety Corps. Unit Commander A.A. Abayomi, who led the operation, condemned the incident, stressing that reckless driving and disobedience to traffic regulations continue to endanger lives on the busy highway. He appealed to motorists to drive responsibly and avoid the temptation of taking one-way route. Community leaders in Ibeju Lekki also expressed concern over recurring accidents on the Lekki-Epe Expressway, urging both the state government and law enforcement agencies to intensify efforts in curbing reckless driving and ensuring compliance with road safety regulation. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. Still on Epe news, Epe local government chairman calls for collective action against domestic and sexual violence. Ekohotblog gathered that the executive chairman of Epe local government, Honorable Sura Olayemi Animashaun, has urged residents to rise against the scourge of domestic and sexual violence as Lagos State marks the 2025 Domestic and Sexual Violence Awareness Month, themed "It Concerns Us All." In a statement, the council boss emphasized that domestic and sexual violence are not just private struggles, wounds that cut deep into the fabric of the society. She noted that women, men, and children across all social backgrounds could be victims of such abuse. Honorable Animashaun reaffirmed the administration's commitment to championing awareness, strengthening preventive measures, and providing safe platforms for survivors to find support and healing. She further urged victims to speak out, stressing that their voices and well-being matter. The Epe local government chairman highlighted that ending domestic and sexual violence is not the duty of the government alone, but a responsibility shared by everyone. Now onto the foreign scene. Afghan Quake death toll exceeds 1,400 as rescue efforts intensify. A powerful 6.0 magnitude earthquake has devastated eastern Afghanistan, with the death toll now soaring past 1,400 people. Ekohotblog gathered that the quake struck a remote mountainous area near the Pakistan border at a shallow depth of just 5 miles, which contributed to the widespread destruction. According to the Taliban spokesperson, Zabihullah Mujahid, over 3,124 sustained injuries and more than 5,400 homes have been completely destroyed. The Afghan Red Crescent Society reported that many people remain trapped under the rubble of destroyed homes, and rescue operations are ongoing. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs estimated that the quake had directly affected as many as 12,000 people. Officials have warned that the final death count is expected to rise as rescuers complete their search operations. However, aid agencies face significant challenges reaching survivors in the rugged terrain. Landslides have blocked roads, forcing teams to travel on foot or use helicopters to airlift the injured. The UN humanitarian coordinator, Indrika Ratwater, stated that the biggest challenge is to reach these remote areas with the road access extremely damaged. The Taliban has appealed for international aid, but this request is complicated because most countries do not recognize their rule. Despite this, some nations have offered help. The UK pledged nearly $1.3 million in assistance, while China also offered support. In contrast, the United States has not announced any aid, despite supplying nearly half of humanitarian aid to Afghanistan until last year. Still on foreign news, Trump's deportation order continues to raise concern. The United States Department of Homeland Service and Security has launched a massive recruitment drive aimed at carrying out what the president has described as the largest deportation operation in American history. This development, according to Ekohotblog, has sparked a growing concern among human rights groups and former security officials about a likely rise in abuse and misconduct by immigration officers. The department, backed by a record-breaking $117 billion budget for border and immigration enforcement, is currently working to hire 10,000 new immigration and custom enforcement officers and 3,000 customs and border protection agents before the year ends. In its push to meet the ambitious target of 3,000 immigration-related arrests per day, reportedly set by Trump's advisor Stephen Miller, the DHS is now offering mouth-watering incentives to attract new recruits. To fast-track the recruitment process, the agency has widened its eligibility age range to include applicants from age 18 down from the previous minimum of 21. It has also shortened the training duration to deploy officers more quickly. A robust online campaign has been rolled out using memes and promotional content that critics say reflect extreme ideologies. While the DHS says interest has been strong, with over 100,000 applications received in just 2 weeks, critics believe the agency's relaxed requirements and aggressive approach may worsen long-standing accountability issues. Up next is sports news. Transfer deadline: Nicholas Jackson, Arokodare, George, and other major deals. The summer transfer window closed with dramatic last-minute moves as several high-profile players sealed deals across Europe. Ekohotblog reports that Chelsea striker Nicholas Jackson has completed a switch to Bayern Munich in a deal valued at over £70 million. The 24-year-old Senegalese forward will join initially on loan for £14.3 million with a mandatory £56.2 million purchase clause tied to appearances. He has agreed to a 5-year contract with German champions. Jackson scored 30 goals in 81 matches for Chelsea following his £32 million move from Villarreal in 2023. But recent disciplinary concern and uncertainty under new management paved the way for his departure. Chelsea also moved to strengthen their squad, bringing in 20-year-old Argentine midfielder Facundo Bononate on a season-long loan from Brighton worth £2 million. Elsewhere, Wolverhampton Wanderers secured the signing of Nigerian international Tolu Arokodare from Belgian side Genk for £24 million. The 6-foot striker, who scored 21 goals last season, has signed a 4-year deal and is expected to partner Jürgen Strand Larsen in Bruno Lager's attack as Wolves battle to escape relegation. Fulham were also active, agreeing a £22 million deal for Chelsea 19-year-old winger Tariq George while AC Milan Samuel Chukwueze is close to completing a medical ahead of a proposed move. George netted 3 goals and provided 5 assists in 27 appearances last season. Manager Marco Silva is hopeful the new addition can lift the struggle Cortega, currently 18th after 3 matches. Bournemouth added depth with £30 million signing of Serbian teenager Veljko Milosavljevic and secured Spain youth international Alex Jimenez on loan from AC Milan as the club continues its rebuild after several summer departures. Liverpool also made a deadline transfer signing to strengthen the attacking line with the addition of Alexander Isak from Newcastle United for a record signing of £130 million. Still on sport, Super Eagles players join camp ahead of Rwanda and South African qualifier. The number of Super Eagles players in camp has risen to 13 as Nigeria ramps up preparations for the crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches against Rwanda and South Africa. Ekohotblog gathered that this is following the arrival of 9 more players at the team's base in Lekki-Epe on Tuesday, bringing the total to 13 out of the 23 invited for the double-header fixture. The latest arrival includes Alex Iwobi, Calvin Bassey, Olaino, Fisayo Dele Bashiru, Moses Simon, Bright Osai Samuel, Chidozie Awazem, Benjamin Frederick, and Adebayo Adeleo. They joined the earlier batch of Williams Troost Ekong, Amas Obasogi, Felix Agu, and Raphael Onyedika, who checked in on Monday. Team media officer Promise Efoge confirmed the update. Ofege also announced plans for the team's media activities ahead of the fixtures, revealing that a media session with the coaching crew and selected players will hold on Wednesday at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium training ground. The official pre-match press conference comes up on Friday, and the first 15 minutes of training that day will be open to the media. Among those still expected are key players like goalkeeper Stanley Wabali, defender Bruno Onyemachi, and midfielder Wilfred Ndidi and Frank Oyeka. Star forwards Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, Samuel Chukwueze, Cyril Dessers, and Chrysanthos Uche. Tolu Arokodare are also yet to report to camp. The Super Eagles face Rwanda on Friday at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, before traveling to Bloemfontein to play South Africa next Monday. Nigeria currently sitting third in Group C with 2 points from 2 matches, trailing South Africa and Rwanda, both on 4 points. Only the group winners will qualify automatically for the 26th World Cup in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Now let's take a look at what's buzzing in the world of showbiz and entertainment. Tiwa Savage unveils intimate 15-track album. Nigerian music star Tiwa Savage has officially made a comeback, releasing a highly anticipated new album titled This One Is Personal on Friday. The album marks a return after a 5 years break from full-length project. Ekohotblog gathered that Tiwa described the 15-track album as deeply personal, stating on social media that she poured every part of her into it. The project explores themes of pain, growth, and resilience through an intimate Afrobeat sound. The album was recorded across Nashville, London, and Lagos with intentional features from UK rapper Skepta, rising star Taves, and Grammy-nominated James Fauntleroy. During a question and answer, she explained a decision to include only a few collaborators. She wanted listeners to feel her in every song, choosing only people who understood her vision and could add to the project's intimacy without taking away from it. Fans have celebrated the album's release worldwide, using the hashtag This One Is Personal to show their love and discuss the stories behind the track. Still on entertainment news, fans heartbroken as popular skit maker Mr. Sanku dies after car crash. Nigerian skit maker and content creator Raji Samad Adetola, popularly known as Mr. Sanku Comedy, has died following a fatal car accident along the Oyo-Ogbomosho Road in Ibadan the early hour of Monday. Ekohotblog gathered that the vehicle in which Sanku was traveling veered off the road and crashed into a ditch. Images and videos from the scene quickly circulated on social media, sparking an outpouring of shock and grief from fans and fellow creators. Sanku was reportedly riding with a friend when the accident occurred. Both victims were rushed to the hospital, but were pronounced dead a few hours later. The 27-year-old content creator rose to fame in 2021, gaining popularity for his unique storytelling style and distinct brand of comedy, which earned him a loyal following across various platforms. Reacting to the tragic news, Nollywood actress Fumi Awelewa shared on Instagram that she had sent one of her students who lives close to Boeing Hospital to check on Sanku after the accident. According to her, the student initially reported that he was responding to treatment. However, despite prayer and hopes for his recovery, Sanku sadly passed away. Tributes poured in on social media as fans, friends and fellow content creators mourn the loss of a rising star in the Nigerian content creation industry. That is a wrap on this week's episode of Ekohotblog weekly review of trending stories. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to always get notified. Which of the news is most astonishing to you? Tell us in the comment section below. Adeola Muda is my name. Until next time, please stay safe and stay healthy.